Yes, TNA started going to, thank God. Tomorrow's show's the last one they got in the can, so they're going to start taping on a week from tomorrow. And that will be an almost live show, and then they're going to tape for several months worth of TV, I guess. So, I mean, it was known they were going to do it, but it's like why you would wait until today to make that announcement. I mean, I'm sure there's a reason, and it's probably not a reason that's very pleasant for what's going on there, but at least they've announced it, and the guys have their itinerary, and the shows are booked and all that. So that's a good sign. I don't know what's going to happen at these tapings, but there you go.
Oh.
You've been going 15 minutes now, so.
Oh, yeah? All right. Let's go. Impact from 3-1 a couple weeks ago. This had, I'll try to make this short for both shows, but this had the Kurt Angle versus Bobby Roode match on it during the Kurt Angle farewell tour here in Birmingham, I believe. So the last 4 minutes of this match were really good, as you'd expect. There were spots where Bobby Roode rolled through an ankle lock and put Angle right into a crossface, which led to some reversals, ended with an Angle slam out of a pin attempt. Then Roode got a 2 count off of a Roode bomb, went for another, but Angle gets out, puts him in the ankle lock before Roode struggles and taps. And this will be one of 3 Kurt Angle retirement matches. He is now at 1-1 after defeating Bobby Roode because he lost to Drew Galloway in a move that was known as the Iron Maiden.
The Iron Maiden.
Yes.
Tom, let me ask you a question as a former and perhaps future professional wrestler. So you own a company, a wrestling company, and you have a guy.
What's the name? Because I used to have a backyard federation called King of the Trailer Park. So
is that really what it's called?
I swear to God.
All right. So
I'll see if I can find the local newspaper came and covered one of the events.
Wow.
So yeah.
Okay, so you've got a King of the Trailer Park wrestling company.
Yes.
And you've got a guy who is going to be leaving, and he's going to be going to fight Rey Mysterio for another promotion. And then, if he had his way, he'd be going back to WWE, whether as a wrestler or maybe as a trainer. But most likely, you ain't going to see this guy for a long time, if ever again in your promotion. And he's doing a retirement tour. Do you really have him beat one of your top guys on the way out?
You think Bobby Roode's going to be there forever?
He's going to be there a hell of a lot longer than Kurt.
Are we sure about that?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Because Kurt's already gone.
Yeah, well, I think they want to make Kurt still kind of look strong, and this is the one out of the 3 guys who would gain the least. He would gain the least from beating Kurt. But why do they want to keep him strong?
Why are you going to make him strong when he's getting the hell out of your company?
I don't know. I mean, out of all the things to complain about, I don't know that this is really the big thing here. I mean, it's Kurt Angle. It's not like it's some bum.
Well, it's not like it is some bum. You're right. All right. I was just wondering your opinion.
Well, do you think Bobby Roode could beat Kurt Angle in a fight?
Dude, it's pro wrestling. It doesn't matter.
Okay, so why'd you bring up Kurt Angle winning?
Because if it were my company, the guy would lose his matches on the damn way out, especially to a guy like Bobby Roode who's staying.
If it were my company, Kurt Angle would be wearing a Freddy Krueger mask, and he would be Dario Cueto's son. So
maybe he will be.
Actually, it's not a bad idea. Okay, so next there's a segment with Hardy, Tyrus, Spud, and Rebby in the ring for a promo. Spud, my man, shouts out my little guy Maxwell, and this made me happy because at that time Matt did like a fist pump, and I think Rebby mouthed like he's ours or something. Made me very happy as a father. And then EC3 comes out to clean house, and he says he wants to fight Spud tonight.
Did you hear Jeff Hardy on Observer Live?
No.
I asked him about your main man, Maxwell.
Yeah.
He just seemed baffled that his wacko brother was bringing his baby out on television. Because I'd never do that.
Oh, yeah. That is bad, you know. I mean,
and this is Jeff Hardy.
I know. The baby
guy that went off a ramp and broke his damn leg because he tried to jump 96 feet.
The baby can barely function. He can't even talk. I mean, should he really be out there performing in a TNA ring in that state every week?
I don't think so, but they're getting into the business young.
All right, I digress. So next we have Jimmy Havoc versus Abyss in I believe it was a Monsters Ball match. It's just a hardcore match. So, okay, I'm going to tell you a little story, Brian. Okay, this one might get me kicked off the air, but
yeah?
I'm watching Jimmy. Probably not. I'm watching Jimmy Havoc, right? And he's wearing this all white getup. It's like white T-shirt, cut off, white pants, white shoes. But his name is spelled Jimmy Havoc in red, and then what appears to be like blood stains on his pants. And this reminded me of a story from when I was younger, in middle school, actually. So I'll set the stage. There was a girl who's, I guess we were 11 or 12 years old.
Really?
What? Yeah.
I know where this is going.
There was a girl, he was about 11 or 12 in all white getup, okay? So, during that time, there's certain things that happen to the male and female body. Well, this girl unfortunately had her first period. And the reason why I remember this so succinctly is there was a point where I don't know if they were out for recess or what was going on, but I was still inside the classroom, and all I could hear were chants. I mean, this is 11-year-old kids, chants of fruit gusher, fruit gusher.
Oh, my God.
Every time I see Jimmy Havoc now, that's all I can think of.
You're so lucky you've got a boy.
I know. Although, if he watched this match, I'm not sure he would consider himself lucky, because at one point, Jimmy Havoc's best offense was a cheese grater to the balls. He took the cheese grater, nailed Abyss in the sack with it, and then pulled it out. Cheese grated him to the junk. Jimmy Havoc got set through a table off the top rope when Abyss nailed him with a chair, threw a chair at him. And then the finish was Havoc absolutely blasting Abyss in the head with kendo sticks over and over and over again before he hit the ropes, and Abyss caught him with what I believe was this is going to sound strange, but the most careful black hole slam onto a barbed wire board for the pin.
Cool.
Are you there?
Yeah, I didn't see it. I presume it was a great slow motion black hole slam onto a barbed wire board.
Oh, he picked him up and turned and then held him to make sure that he wasn't going to spike himself on the barbed wire.
This reminds me of when Sid gave Bret Hart the powerbomb in that match, and he lifted him halfway up, put an arm under him, and then gently put him on the ground.
Yeah, well, you got to protect your guys.
Don't yell at me like I'm Granny. Of course I'm here.
I thought maybe you left after that story.
Fuck no.
Okay. Well, all right. Hey. So then there was a verbal debate in the ring between Gail and Maria. Maria lists her accolades, and then Gail Kim gave chase to her, but ended up getting jumped by Jade.
What accolades did she have?
Okay. You want to know what accolades she had?
Actually, I really do.
Let me think.
Pose and Playboy.
Yes, that
former
was one
WWE star. Former Ring of Honor and New Japan star.
You're ruining it. Now you're screwing up my train of thought. Playboy was definitely one of them.
Texarkana champion.
No, that was not on there. Oh, damn it. Now I'm going to have to go back and rewatch it to remember. There was another one. There was another one for sure. But Playboy was definitely on there. Which, they don't even have naked girls anymore.
It's
how
true.
How ridiculous is that?
That's true. I bet that's boomed their newsstand business.
Through the roof. So then we have a match between Eric Young and Big Damo. So Eric Young just put out an open challenge. Big Damo came out. Big Damo moves pretty well for a big guy. By that, I mean he does a lot of sentons and jumping stuff. It looks awkward, but he's big and fat, so I guess it looks better than if he was skinny. Undoubtedly. Okay,
Undoubtedly.
So, yes. During this match, this is the best part of this match was Josh was talking about this King of the Mountain title, and he says, think about how this title was introduced in 2015. And I did. And then I wished I hadn't thought about it. And then I was wondering why Josh even brought it up. Jeff Jarrett won it in some random match that was made 3 days before. Why bring that up? I don't know.
And then left.
Yeah. So let's think about this for a second and then move on.
It is a good thing they put him over before he left.
Much like Kurt Angle.
Exactly.
Yeah. So very similar circumstances. Damo eventually crushed Eric Young with a big crossbody. Then Eric Young picked him up. Now, Damo's like probably 300, 350 maybe, 300. He looks like, and I have no clue, but he looks like what I imagine Big Wood looks like. So,
damn, I wish I'd seen it.
Yeah, so he gets picked up. I mean, you can look for a picture of Big Damo, but he gets picked up and Eric Young gives him a pile driver, but I'm pretty sure he took like 8 years off his life because he could barely hold him up there. And then because he's barely holding him, his legs were kind of open. And Big Damo did like one of those face first pile driver deals.
You know what's funny? About? You know what's funny, by the way, Tom? You know who Big Wood actually does look like, the best I can describe for professional wrestling? He looks like an out-of-shape Kane.
Which Kane? He's bald?
Your main man, Kane.
No, yeah, I know, but like corporate Kane with the mask on.
He does not look like Kane with the mask on. He looks like current, largely bald Kane. So
he's bald?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. See, I pictured him with hair, so.
I think he's bald.
He's your friend.
I haven't seen him in years. I wasn't over there for the big fight. I'll find out.
Okay. It's very important.
I'm on his Facebook right now.
See if you can find
bald.
Out
confirmed.
Bald.
Yeah, he's bald. He's got no hair on his head.
All right. I thought you said he was a model.
A model? Big Wood? What are you talking about?
So, Mike Bennett was fighting against Drew Galloway in a match. These two are having a little bit of a argument between who should be the number one contender over the course of the past few weeks. So Drew dominates the early part of the match. Eventually, Bennett takes over. Drew hits a Claymore kick, goes for the greatly named Iron Maiden submission. Maria interferes, gets Bennett's leg on the rope. And then Bennett rolls up Drew from behind for the 3 count to win.
So it's going to be Drew and Bennett for the title now going forward, we presume?
Oh, did you ruin it? You spoiled it.
Dude, it aired.
Dude, no way.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's right. It did. Okay, anyways, let's go right to the main event here. It was Ethan Carter III versus Rockstar Spud in a street fight. Whatever. They fight.
This sounds like a great match.
Well, I mean, how are they going to, they can't win. It's a street fight. Earlier in the show, Dixie came back and she said, look, Spud, I can't sanction this match. I've got to wipe my hands clean. This is an unsanctioned match. So literally it was just them fighting. All right. So, anyways, Spud, hits a low blow towards the end, slows down EC3 a little bit, but EC3 comes back, powerbombs Spud through the table, and then starts choking him. Starts choking him as it ends. So there we go.
So is that the one that which one did you not watch all the way through?
That one.
That one, okay. That sounds like a good show.
It wasn't bad. What I saw was good. The next week's show was good as well. So this is 3-8 Impact. Okay. Dixie Carter is in the ring for a farewell tour speech, blowing up how great Kurt Angle is. But he gets interrupted by Lashley, who says he can look into Kurt's eyes and see that Kurt just isn't ready to face him tonight. So I don't know if he took a look into him and then was like, oh, Kurt's pretty sauced up. Maybe we shouldn't do this. Or what the deal was. The crowd chanted towards Lashley, Angle's going to kill you. And I thought, usually that's kind of out of place. But seeing as how Bobby Lashley fights for Bellator, it's pretty legit. He could die.
That's right. The kidney issues.
Yeah, there's a lot of things. That's the Bellator gimmick, right?
Not yet.
Okay.
Can you believe that, by the way? Can you believe that? Kimbo and Ken failed drug tests.
Yeah, absolutely. I can believe that. Can you not believe it? That's the real question. Can you not?
You know what? There's part of me that just can't believe it. You know what I mean? Did you ever read Ken's original book?
Into the Lion's Den?
Yeah, Inside the Lion's Den or whatever.
No, never.
This was written in like the late 90s, and so I think he'd already done some stuff for WWE when he was just enormous. And he just does this huge anti-steroid rant in his book. and he's just ranting and raving. And granted, we don't know if he failed this test for steroids, but he did fail a previous test for steroids in a previous fight. And yes, you know what? It is kind of amazing to me that on this huge stage, he goes out there, I don't know. And he lost! A lot of damn good that did you, buddy. Whatever it was.
Well,
it could be weed because the threshold is very low in Texas.
That's true. Here's the thing. I thought that extended steroid use was supposed to shrink your testicles. Remember, Ken took that nut shot.
Well, you're right. You're right. So maybe it was weed. We don't know. Maybe we'll find out soon.
Maybe when Ken got hit there, it was like, oh, that's where my balls used to be. That's
why it took him so long to react.
Well, there's a, they say if they say you're in the army or something, you get your arm blown off in a,
the phantom limb.
Yeah. Or say you're out in the woods in Washington or wherever it is, and you're cutting down a tree or something, and a big bird comes over and eats off half your arm. You're still going to have like the sensation like your arm's there later on. So that could be what it was.
Could be.
Yeah. Probably wasn't, but. So, okay, we have the King of the Mountain title. This was Eric Young defending against Bram, Will Osprey, speaking of birds, Jimmy Havoc, and Big Damo. What a star-studded cast here going against Eric Young, especially after one of the guys is his friend, his one ally, and then 3 other dudes. So this match is basically like finishers and big moves off the ladder. I believe it was heavily edited, but I can neither confirm nor deny that as being the truth. Some of the spots were Jimmy Havoc jumping off the top of the penalty box, which was kind of more like a step and fall rather than a jump. A pile driver onto the steps by Eric Young, Bram with an impaler on Big Damo, and eventually Eric Young hits a neck breaker off of the top rope. So he jumps off the top. Will Osprey's on a ladder. Eric Young hits a neck breaker, which sends them both down to the mat, and climbs the ladder and retains. At the end of the match, Pope, during their interviews, I believe, or the replay, I'm sorry, exclaimed, "This is a neck breaker that will stand the test of time." And most people have already forgotten, and even more never knew it even happened. So,
I always argue for commentators not having somebody yell in their ear the whole time, but the more I hear from Josh and the Pope, somebody needs to be there yelling in their ear all the time.
Could be us.
Should be.
It really actually should be. Okay, so then there's a bunch of video packages. Angle beats Samoa Joe in one of them. This was not live. Okay. Then Maria's backstage with Dixie saying how inspiring it is that she has the miracle and her there. And Dixie, I want to talk about the knockouts. So if you can do me a favor and call my assistant, and then we can chit chat about them. Dixie tells her that actions are louder than words. And during this whole thing, I was thinking, like, man, I have definitely been on dates with girls who act like Maria. Like, her character here, she is just out to space, very, very into herself, very condescending when she speaks to others. And, as a legend, that's right, I'm a legend in online dating. I could say I've run into many females who have these same characteristics.
A legend in online dating.
Yeah. I'm the real LOD.
Put that in your Wikipedia.
Yeah, I will. LOD 2016 right here. All right. So then there's a Maria and Mike Bennett promo in the ring. Bennett says that there will be a miracle tonight, and it will be him being named #1 contender. And after thinking about it, he holds one legit win over Drew Galloway, but the other times he fought like Mark Andrews and I think, was it Shinron, Master of Motion? Or did EC3
yeah,
beat him
Shinron,
up?
the Master of Motion.
I don't remember if he beat him up or if EC3 beat up Shinron, but whatever the deal may be, I don't think that he should be the #1 contender. And in fact, it would be a miracle if they named him that. Galloway comes out to interrupt with his briefcase, which makes me wonder why does he carry it around all the time? Like,
why?
Yeah,
because that's what they do in WWE.
Just leave it backstage. Like, that Matt Hardy's not out there.
It doesn't matter. It's a weapon.
Whatever. Drew calls him a little bitch, which actually got little bitch chants from the crowd. Says it isn't a charity. Bennett says Galloway had to beg Angle for a rematch because he wasn't man enough to do it the first time. And that he won the title shot that's in that briefcase in some game show thingamajiggy or thingamabobber, which is true. That match sucks, and it should be called out. And then Galloway does the great babyface move of jumping Mike Bennett. And Bennett kind of bails out of the ring as Galloway goes for the Claymore kick. So, a fun segment.
A fun segment as always.
Yeah. So then we have Kurt Angle wins the title like 15 years ago. Then he's in the back talking to the Wolves, and he gives, which is quite ironic, gives Davey Richards the ankle lock as a finishing move, like bestows it upon him. So then we next have a match for the Knockouts title between Gail Kim and
Is it really
Jade.
bestowing the move on a guy who's been using it for years?
No. That's what made it so great, I think. And like Davey Richards was really happy, like, no way, thanks. I think when Kurt Angle left, they even said like, dude, that guy's a legend or something like that. Like, he's really cool. Really weird. So, anyways, Gail Kim versus Jade for the Knockouts title. Wait a minute. I was going to do this whole segment in my best Jim from Virginia impression.
You sound more like Deborah from W.
Well, Brian, here we go. Okay. During this match, this was a good match. This was some really good work from Jade, or as you know, or Mia Yim on the Indies. So Jade worked over Gail, and at one point even put her in the Emma lock. This is a great move that Emma's been using for a while. I'm glad it's over here in Impact. Then there's also a nice German suplex by Jade, but Gail fights out of the package pile driver and hits kind of like a mule kick or scorpion kick to the face. So she gets out and hits a crossbody off the top, and they both roll around a little bit until Gail Kim locks up the cradle for the 3 count.
Wow.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
Good work.
Thank you. And the match was good stuff, as I said. So I was very happy with that match. So we have the Wolves versus Beer Money for the tag titles. Wolves come out with the Union Jack all over their chests. Anyways, Beer Money gets the heat on them. Richards gets a hot tag and hits I think this might be one of my most hated spots. It's where he threw, let me think. He threw Bobby Roode into James Storm, which James Storm decided to catch him in a DDT and wait. And then Davey Richards ran up and hit James Storm with a drop kick so that he DDTs his own partner. What are your thoughts on that spot?
That is a spot that I would never try in a match.
Okay, I hate it. I think it's stupid. And if I was in a fight, there's no way in hell I'd be doing that.
If you were in a fight?
Yeah, if I was in a fight. So the Wolves hang up James Storm in the Tree of Woe, and they hit a stereo kind of like diving stomp and apron drop kick for a 2 count. Then there's a top rope Hurricane Rana by Storm, followed by a big splash by Roode. Then there was the most notable thing in the match, and this is where Davey Richards, I think, he blew out his ACL.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
So he jumps off the top rope, and he's supposed to get hit with a code breaker, or as the Pope would call it, a lung blower by James Storm. So James Storm catches him in the code breaker, but like as Davey Richards was landing, he couldn't really, it was like he was in between whether he should land on his feet or with his knees down or something, and get caught up kind of bad as he landed. And, you could see immediately he kind of rolls out of the ring, and Earl Hebner throws up the X. So Beer Money hits the DWI on Eddie Edwards, and they win the titles.
Man, that sucks.
Yeah, you could tell right where it was, too. So then Lashley is backstage, tells Galloway that Lashley will be the new top dog. Then there were some tweets for Kurt Angle, well wishes and thank yous for Kurt Angle sent from fans who were undoubtedly in their parents' basement. There was a backstage verbal altercation between Angle and Bennett. And then Grado stormed the ring in this is a smorgasbord of segments here. Grado storms the ring, says Kenny Smith in the video truck is going to play a video showing that there was something fishy about his firing. But of course.
That's right.
All right. But of course.
I remember this angle.
Eli Drake comes out with Jesse Goddard's Mr. Pectacular, and they assault Grado. This leads to Mahabali Shera coming out to help.
Mahabali Shera.
Yes. Mahabali Shera comes out to help, but gets nailed by Drake with the briefcase. Eli Drake, not Drake the rapper, who lays him out and then goes to hit Grado, but misses and hits Jesse Goddard's. Grado hits a diamond cutter and then steals the briefcase and goes running.
This all comes to a head last night, actually.
Yes. I can't wait to watch, actually. I have quite an affinity for Grado. Were you aware of that?
I was aware of that.
Yeah, I even came out to his song.
Yes, you did.
Which a lot of the British fans seem to like.
And a lot of American fans were very confused.
But they seem to like it as well. Females really liked it. I was like really, really hot for a few minutes there.
You were.
And
all
I was
over your Twitter.
Do you know? Yeah, it was the number one trend on Twitter after
Really?
the weigh-ins for
Wow.
like 3 hours. Bigger than the Republican presidential debate.
Fuck.
Think about that.
And
Bigger
being
than
held
Trump.
down by the damn man.
Yeah. Hey, you notice every pay-per-view or big show I'm on does great numbers?
That is true.
I don't think the UFC notices that. UFC 100, through the roof, record numbers. Tom Lawler's on that show.
Nobody gave you the credit.
This one, record numbers, through the roof. Where's my credit? Everybody's talking about Conor McGregor and Holly Holm and Misha Tate and Nate Diaz. It's the Lawler Maniacs that brought this thing up high.
If you hadn't been fucked, were you going to call out Conor McGregor?
No, I wasn't going to call out McGregor. I was going to call out The Undertaker.
Wouldn't have done a damn bit of good anyway since he got smoked by Diaz.
Yeah, that's true. At least it wasn't life imitating art whatever. At least it wasn't art imitating life, and I didn't get, choked out in 2 minutes in the second round or whatever. Anyways, so do we have the final match of the Kurt Angle video tour, or what is it? Farewell tour?
Farewell.
Okay, so yes, we got Lashley versus Angle. They always say Angle is pro wrestling's only Olympic gold medalist, and I find that very hard to believe.
Henry DeGlane.
Okay. What is it? Yeah. Satoshi Ishii.
That's right. Was he gold medalist?
In judo, I believe. Maybe silver. Ooh, man.
I'll find out.
William.
Henry DeGlane, that's all you need to know, and it was a century earlier.
All right, so this match starts off with some back and forth wrestling. Angle hits a lot of suplexes.
Gold medal judo. Satoshi Ishii.
Mm-hmm. And he wrestles for IGF.
That's right.
So, there you go. Angle with a lot of suplexes, and Lashley with a lot of shoulder blocks and shoulder rams in the corner. Lashley hits a few spears, but cannot find the 3 count. Angle catches Lashley as he's rolling through, kind of off the ropes. This is a pretty cool spot. Angle goes for, I think it was a schoolboy, and as Lashley rolls through, like he's going to roll all the way to his knees, Angle locked in the ankle lock. Eventually, Lashley fights out, sends Angle into the post, hits another spear, and gets the 3 count in about 10 minutes, and the crowd was completely flat.
Well,
so not a fitting end, I believe, to Angle's in-ring career here in Impact. This was basically to set up a post-match Angle. They embrace. Lashley and Kurt embrace. Lashley holds up Kurt's hand, but then decks him before hitting another spear, dumping the ref. Drew Galloway runs out and stops him, begs off. But Lashley then spears him. Out comes Eddie Edwards, like he's gonna take Lashley out after these two guys couldn't. He gets speared. Lashley hits Angle with another spear, and if the show ends with EC3 running out and him and Lashley facing off before Lashley decides to bail and laughs his way up the ramp. So they're putting over Lashley, I guess, as the big heel or the big monster heel here now once again. And this is a fun show. I thought it was booked pretty well. I think the TNA booking is actually pretty damn good.
The actual television show has been so much better lately. But they're still in big trouble. Just rough.
sucks.
Let me ask you a
It's like
question.
they're starting to do the right stuff, but it's too late.
Well, it's just like WCW at the end. Last few months of WCW were not bad, and then they were out of business. So
Anytime you can get Tank Abbott in a shirt with his nipples cut out, A-okay with me.
That's not exactly what I was talking about, but... Let's talk about Impact.
Yes, let's do it. Okay, so we have Impact from last week, which was 315. And on this show, the first thing you'll notice is they are back in the Impact Zone, baby. So they're here or there at Universal Studios in Florida with a familiar crowd, which I guess this crowd to me is a lot better than the Bethlehem crowd, but not quite as good as the UK crowd. Thoughts?
Sure.
All right.
No crowd is worse than the Bethlehem crowd. That I can give you.
None. No crowd?
None.
So having 0 people in attendance would be better?
Having 0 people in attendance would be an improvement over Bethlehem, because then at least there's an excuse for no sound. There's no excuse when there's people there and they're not making any sound.
Valid point.
By the way, what do you think about Bobby Roode and Eric Young leaving?
Well, I broke that news about Bobby
you
Roode.
And your news breaking.
My sources, later on during the week, my sources were confirmed. Bobby Roode has left TNA.
I broke that news. That's why I argued so strongly that it made no sense. If the man was staying, I said, if the man was staying, there was a clue.
All right. Well, I don't know what the hell they're doing, so I can't comment. It sucks for TNA, but it seems as if they've already righted the booking issues that were going to come from that. So it is quite odd, though, and I think you mentioned this, that, James Storm was seemingly in TNA, comes back, teams up with Bobby Roode, and now Bobby Roode's out of there.
Listen, here's what's so interesting about this, okay? So, I don't know if one necessarily had to do with the other, but I want you to think about this. James Storm left, and he went to NXT. And everybody knows the story that they offered him, I think the number was double what he'd been offered by WWE. So TNA gave James Storm a ton of money to come back. So my guess is that they gave him so much money that Roode and Eric Young were like, dude, can we get some more money? And they were told no, and so they left.
Yeah, I mean, that would make perfect sense.
What are you Googling over there?
Well, okay. You said they offered him a ton of money. So I was looking at how many bills are in a ton of money.
And what did you find? 2,000 pounds?
Well, you would think so, right? I was trying to figure out how many bills.
Bills.
How much money it would be. It would be 2,000 pounds of money, yes. I understood that. But it said all U.S. bills weigh the same, 1 gram. About 454 grams makes a pound, which means that a ton of dollar bills would be worth $908,000. $908,000.
Yeah, but how much does it weigh? How much is
Brian, are you serious?
No, how much does it weigh? How much would it be worth? 900,000?
908,000.
908,000. Okay. Well, they didn't offer him $908,000.
How much does a ton of money weigh?
2,000 pounds.
Okay, thank you.
What's heavier, Tom? A ton of feathers or a ton of bricks?
Let's move on. Don't insult my intelligence.
Okay. Where were we?
So Jeff Hardy and Eric Young, speaking of intelligence, Jeff Hardy and Eric Young are about to have a match on Impact. So Jeff Hardy comes out, goes right to the ring. There's really no time for anything else, no pre-match promo or anything. Goes to the ring, and then it cuts to Eric Young in the back, who's yelling at Dixie Carter, who's in like the gorilla or command position. Dixie gets up and takes her headphones off and gets yelled at by Eric Young, and then I don't think she even responded back. She just stood up and looked at him, and then they cut away. So Eric Young runs out to the ring, and he and Jeff Hardy get into a big brawl. Dixie's music hits, and she comes out and says that the winner of this match will be inserted into the world title main event later tonight, which is a match between EC3 and Matt Hardy. So the match goes on. Hardy gets Eric Young on the outside and lays him down, and then goes inside and hits a springboard plancha over the top, like to the floor, a splash. But Eric Young gets his knees up. It was a pretty cool spot there. Eric Young then goes up top for a top rope headbutt, but misses. This allows Jeff to get a little bit of offense in before he goes up top, and Eric Young cuts him off. Jeff is able to hit him with some punches and knock him down on the mat, hit the Swanton bomb, and get the 3 count. So this match was basically just to set up, the angle later on here, or, to be an angle in and of itself. The match itself was nothing to write home about.
Tom, can I stop you and ask you a question about this?
Yep.
So let me get this straight.
Yep.
Eric Young is going to the ring.
Yep.
And he shouts down Dixie Carter.
Yep.
Dixie Carter then comes out and says that she's making a change, and the winner of a match involving Eric Young, who just yelled at her, is going to get a world championship shot in the main event.
Yep. And he was complaining about not getting opportunities in the back. So when Dixie came out, she said...
So all you have to do to get an opportunity is to shout down Dixie Carter.
He's got a fucking title belt. What else does he want? How many opportunities does the guy want?
And furthermore, does it not make the promotion look rinky-dink that you signed a main event, and then at the beginning of the show when it kicks off, you just randomly announce that you're going to do a match to add a third participant?
Do you think they're concerned with that?
Well, I don't know, but I'm just asking you what you think, Tom.
No, I don't think it looks that bad. It happens all the time, in every promotion. Essentially. I mean, there's bad booking.
It happens in real life in WWE, and people belittle them for it. So why would you turn it into an angle on your television show? That your fucking owner is changing the show as it's going on.
Brian, have you never been about to do a show with somebody and then, wait a minute, we've got a special guest that we can get on here. Let's throw him in at the last second.
Never.
Does that ever happen? That's never happened? I highly doubt that.
Not to mention, I'm doing a podcast, not a fucking nationally televised television show.
Which one has more viewers?
Well, I was hoping you wouldn't checkmate me there. Proceed.
Okay. So, whatever. That match is over, I guess. So, come back from commercial, and Matt Hardy is in the ring dressed like an Insane Clown Posse style level wizard of some sort. Rebby is by his side, and also has Maxwell, who has quite a nice head of hair, I'll say, for a young baby.
Paisley.
Yeah, she does. She does have a good head of hair.
Did your son have hair and it fell out, or did he have no hair and still doesn't?
It's like short, and then he's got like a rat tail.
Cool.
Like, yeah, that's like where all his hair is. It's in like a patch on the back. It's kind of like I think it's a very popular hairstyle for like teenage Russian boys. I don't know. So, anyways, Rebby has Maxwell in the ring, and she's telling Jeff, like, look, you're part of our family. You're an uncle. Says Jeff is Maxwell's second favorite wrestler, and they're calling him Uncle Jeff. Jeff says he's going to stay in the match, and then he gave Matt, like, the finger or his hand taunt. I couldn't tell which one it was, and the camera tried to cut away to make you think it was the finger, but then they cut back, and his hand was still up, and then they cut away again, and then they came back and he hit a twist of fate. You follow me there? It was kind of like when...
I do, but I don't know why they did that.
It was kind of like when the Shield attacked somebody ringside. The camera was all over the place. So, camera tries to cut away. I don't know what the hell was going on. I don't know if he gave him the finger or just his, 2-finger salute or whatever the hell it is. Hits a twist of fate, and then just kind of leaves. Lays out Matt, takes off. We cut to Eddie Edwards in the back, who is attacked by the Decay and beaten up. And then next segment is the Miracle and Maria, who are in the back as well, threatening Gail Kim and Drew Galloway. They say tonight is when the miracle happens. I mean, keeps happening every week. So
regular miracles here on this program, except the one they need the most,
which is
business.
So we come back from commercial, and Eddie Edwards is fine. He's okay. Beer Money approach him and offer their help to him in his battle against the Decay. So Eddie Edwards got beat up, and then in 90 seconds was already okay. Great healing powers.
It's like these fighters.
Just like us. Then we have a match between the Miracle, Michael Bennett and Maria, and Gail Kim and Drew Galloway. So the story of the match basically is Maria's scared to get in there with Gail, and Mike Bennett pays for it. He gets beat up pretty much the whole time, with the faces taking turns beating on him. At one point, Maria holds the ropes open and Gail spills outside, allows them to get a little bit of heat. There's a pretty cool spot where Drew is beating on Bennett a little bit, and Maria gets his attention and slaps him. So then he looks at Bennett and chops him. She slaps him again. He does the same thing. Eventually, kind of everybody's in the ring. They're each going after it. Gail ends up hitting the eat defeat on Mike Bennett. Galloway then hits a Claymore kick on him. But during the confusion, Maria rolls up Gail, holds the tights, and gets the 1, 2, 3 count for the win. So it was an okay match. Obviously trying to set up Maria and Gail Kim in a program. And Bennett and Maria, for the first time, I think, had nice matching outfits and matching tights. So.
Well, she dresses him.
Really?
That's what he said on the show. He said, if you like what I wear or you don't, it's my wife.
Well, yeah. I liked his outfit this time. I will say that. I wonder, I know that they live in the same place that I used to live, but I wonder where in the city they live.
What a stalker.
Well, I don't really know, but I wonder if they go to like any of the same places I used to frequent.
I'm sure they do.
So, then
ask him. He's a friendly guy.
I will. I'll ask him. Don't tell me what to do. Bark orders at me.
I didn't bark at her. I made a suggestion. There's a big difference, Tom.
I may. All right.
I didn't begin with "I command thee."
Well, why would I would just ask her if she's the one that's in control? Go right to the head.
Yeah, but she may ignore you.
Oh, come on. Last time she tried to ignore me, I scooped her up ringside and carried her away at Ring of Honor. Were you aware of that?
I was well aware.
Okay. So Bobby Lashley is in the ring. He's basically doing an interview with Josh, and he says that he's not Angle's friend, not Kurt Angle's friend. He has no friends in this business. And then just starts ragdolling Josh around, tosses him down to the ground, throws him down, sets himself up for the spear in the corner, but the Pope comes in for the save. And Lashley, kind of looks like he's not going to do anything, turns his back, and then, of course, speared him and kicked him out from under the ring. So Lashley is a full-blown heel, the Destroyer. So then we go back from commercial again, and Jeremy Borash is on commentary replacing the Pope.
Thank God.
You don't like the Pope?
Pope sucks. I mean that in the nicest way possible.
He said there was a couple.
God bless him. I'm sure he's a nice guy.
Oh, he came in and saved Josh, and they don't even get along, so he must be a really nice guy. Okay, so then we cut to the back once again in the show of 1,000 segments, and we have EC3 welcoming Jeff Hardy back to TNA Impact, and he says, Jeff says that he likes the new EC3 attitude, and during this, EC3 at one point called Matt a bag of D's, which may have been the first time I've ever heard that on a wrestling program.
A bag of D's.
Yeah.
Like a D bag.
No.
Actually, technically, a douche bag would be...
He's a bag of dicks.
It would be the bag. No, he called him a bag of D. He was trying to say a D bag, a douche bag.
No,
but he thought it'd be funnier to call him a bag of D's.
No.
He's a bag full of cocks? That doesn't make any sense. That's ridiculous.
A bag of dicks is an actual term. People use that term.
I'm going to my favorite website right now.
Why don't you ask
Urban
him?
Dictionary.
Why don't you ask EC3 on Twitter?
I can't ask him I'd ask him on the air.
He's got 20 minutes.
Look at that. Mailbagofdicks.com.
You know what, Brian?
Hold on. Number one site to send a bag of dicks. 100% anonymous.
Yeah, I've sent those. I have some. I think I have a bag of dicks in my cabinet, actually.
Eat a bag of dicks. Well, I guess you were right. I'm sorry I was unaware. I'm so old that I'm unaware of the term bag of dicks. What I'm really shocked by, more so than I was unaware of that, is the fact that there is the following websites: mailabagofdicks.com, dicksbymail.com, shipabagofdicks.com, ruindays.com/bagofdicks. Man.
Yeah. I've used this website.
Really? You better not send me a bag of dicks.
Dicks by mail. Oh, you would love it. They're gummy. It's just a bag of gummy dicks.
A phrase uttered in such rage that telling another human being to suck a dick would not convey the full intent of the speaker, generally used sarcastically in return to blatant sarcasm, resulting in a perpetual cycle of bag eating. It's official definition.
Webster Merriam?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't buy that. Anyways, EC3 skeptical of Matt and Jeff Hardy's intentions. We'll move on unless you're absolutely enthralled.
I'm pretty enthralled, but please move on.
Okay. Did I tell you there was a show here in Vegas, the Puppetry of the Penis?
No.
Where they do like tricks with their penis? I haven't seen it. My girlfriend's seen it.
Yeah, of course.
She said it was amazing.
I'll bet.
No, seriously. Okay. No, it was very
She came
funny.
back home to you afterwards?
Yes. I had to lay down the towels first. So there's a match between Beer Money and Eddie Edwards versus the Decay. Borash on commentary says, these two teams are real different. Beer Money hangs out with Toby Keith, and the Decay hangs out with Marilyn Manson. I'm calling bullshit on both of those. I mean, it's more likely that, Beer Money hangs out with Toby Keith, or did hang out with him. Do you think they still do?
Well, one of them sure shit won't anymore.
That's true. Do you believe the Decay, Abyss, Crazy Steve, or Rosemary hangs out with Marilyn Manson?
Let me think about this. No,
I don't think so either. So then Josh takes it upon himself to plug the AJ Styles DVD, which you can buy from TNA. Decay get the heat on Bobby Roode, including Abyss chokeslamming Crazy Steve, or as I like to call him, Crazy Steve, onto Bobby Roode. Eventually, Steve misses a cannonball in the corner, and Roode makes the hot tag to James Storm, who Josh informs us is down close to 40 pounds over the past few months. So,
wow.
Yeah, I'd like to know what they bill him at. I mean, he does look like he's in better shape, definitely than he was in his last venture in TNA. He looked pretty rough then, but I don't know. He still looks pretty big to me, down close to 40 pounds. I don't know. So Beer Money eventually does their taunt, which is my most hated thing each week on TNA, I think. And Rosemary sprays the mist into someone's eyes. Crazy Steve hits the low blow on Eddie Edwards and rolls him up for the 3 count and the win. So the Decay staking their claim for world title shot down the road. We then have Billy Corgan and Grado in the back. Billy Corgan says that TNA has looked at footage they have and also tweets and he is going down to the ring right now. And he's going to tell Grado and Eli Drake what their decision is, and whatever happens out there is final. Then another segment with the Hardys and Dixie in the back. So it's Matt and Rebby with Dixie Carter. Matt straight up says, I was going to go out there and pin EC3 tonight, and you are trying to put a wrench in those plans. Dixie, this is unfair. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to walk out to the match, and I'm going to punch the ref in the face to get DQ'd so that I keep my title, which I thought was a very smart thing. However, it was not a smart thing to tell Dixie that, because she said, you know what? I had a feeling you were going to say exactly that.
She had a feeling.
So, yeah, she had a feeling he was going to say that. So it's now no DQ. All right. We come back from
Wait a second. Isn't it a fucking 3-way? Aren't there never DQs in 3-ways?
Well, I don't think you can just go grab any weapons you want and start pounding somebody, can you? You could beat the snot out of the ref and not lose the match in a 3-way?
I think so. How do you have a DQ in a 3-way? Who gets to win? The other 2 guys?
That is a good point, actually. I don't know. I guess it would just you kick him out of the match and then it's down to 2 guys.
I'll find out. You go on.
I don't know. Well, maybe they'll do that finish at WrestleMania so they can keep the 3-way between Charlotte, Becky, and Sasha Banks going for 6 months. Anyways, we have Eli, Drake, Grado, and Billy Corgan in the ring. Corgan, during this segment, says, look, Eli, we don't know what happened with the briefcases. We don't know what you did, but we know you did something. And that's like a witch chase. You know, they don't really know what he did, but they're just going to go, punish him anyways. Sounds kind of shady. So Corgan says that he has a new contract for Grado, And the way that Grado can get it is if he climbs a ladder and grabs it as it's hanging from the rafters. But Eli Drake could do the same thing and rip up that contract. And that match for the contract, the ladder match, starts now. So the match begins, and right off the bat, Grado is about to grab this contract when Mr. Pectacular, Jesse Goddard, runs out and interferes and dumps Grado from the ladder. Goddard and Eli Drake double team Grado, but Maha Billy Shira, he just can't let the heels curry on any longer, and he runs out and interferes. So then Grado gets back in the ring and climbs the ladder and decides instead of going for the contract and keeping his job, he's going to dive from the inside of the ring out onto all three guys. And he does so. And during this, I'm not quite sure, but Maha Billy Shira is on like the outside of the three guys and physically pushes Eli Drake out of the way so that he could jump in between and catch Grado. So great base there, Maha Billy Shira.
All right, so WWE rules, triple threat matches since the beginning of time have always been no disqualification. So given the fact that TNA normally just copies everything from WWE, technically they should also be no disqualification matches if they're three ways.
Okay. But
so there you go.
we can't be sure.
No, we can't be sure. I do not have a TNA rule book in front of me.
Is there one? Do you think?
Highly unlikely.
So let's see. At least during that match, Borash and Josh got on Grado's case for jumping off the ladder instead of going for the contract. They continue to fight, and Grado ends up with Drake kind of standing on top of him and hits an electric chair off of the ladder. Then, for some reason, they both are back up at the same time. Grado wasn't able to capitalize, and they climb back up the ladder, punch it out a little bit. Grado hits an elbow drop that was very reminiscent of Dusty Rhodes, where he'd spin his hands, hit the elbow, and hits an elbow drop. Eli Drake falls off the ladder, and Grado grabs the contract. We then go to the back once again, and Eric Young and Bram are backstage, and Eric Young's losing his mind, and he sees Willow walking around back there with him. Willow points his umbrella at him. Bram doesn't see it. He thinks Eric Young's crazy, which apparently he is. And then that segment's over. So I believe that was the 45th segment of this show.
I was going to say, gee, Merry Christmas.
Yeah. So we have the main event. Jeff Hardy versus EC3 versus Matt Hardy. So Matt is doing a great job during this whole thing of looking absolutely petrified of this match. Absolutely scared he's going to lose this title. Matt's looking for Jeff to help him on double team moves, but Jeff refuses and instead teams up with EC3, hits some double team moves. At this point, I'm looking at EC3, and this guy's fucking huge. He is like, I don't even know. It's like he's wearing a dinosaur shell on his back and his upper body. I mean, his shoulders are, the guy's huge. I don't know what he's doing. So he climbs up to the top, and then Jeff cuts him off, and he hits a top rope bulldog power slam, and then what could be described at best as a questionable drop kick on Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy, we come back from commercial. Matt hits it was a twist of fate on the hardest part of the ring, which is the apron, but they didn't show it. Instead, Josh and Borash are just saying, what a great move that was. Eventually they show it on replay. And then Matt and Jeff go in the ring. They're going after each other, punching each other, hitting each other. Eventually Jeff hits a twist of fate, goes to the top, hits the Swanton bomb, goes for the cover, but Eric Young and Bram come out and lay waste to Jeff, rekindling their feud from a few weeks ago. Eric Young pile drives Jeff on the floor, essentially taking him out of the match. So EC3 and Matt are inside the ring, brawling it out. Tyrus and Spud then run down and interfere, but EC3 fights him off and actually gets Tyrus up on his shoulders and hits what they call an ECO, which is a TKO, which is very impressive by EC3. And then Gorilla presses Spud out of the ring on top of Tyrus. Matt hits a low blow, goes to a twist of fate, but EC3 gets out, hits the 1%er. Out comes Mike Bennett with a chair, and he destroys EC3 with a chair, throws him into the crowd. Hits EC3 with a chair. Matt then gets up, hits 2 twists of fate on I'm sorry, there's too many guys out here at this point, on EC3, but can only get a 2 count, so EC3 is kicking out of everything. Bennett then takes matters into his own hands and goes after EC3 in the crowd. He's hitting him with the chair. Matt basically grabs the mic while all this is going on and just cackles like mad that he's still the champion and he's leaving he's leaving the show with the title no matter what. Then Drew Galloway's music hits, comes down with the briefcase, says he's cashing in. They get in the ring. Matt immediately goes for the twist of fate. Galloway pushes him off, hits the Claymore kick, locks up the Future Shock double arm DDT, nails it. 1, 2, 3. Drew Galloway is your new champion, and the show goes off the air with Galloway in the ring, in the crowd celebrating with all the fans.
Holy smokes! What a twist of fate!
A lot going on there.
A twist of fate is what that was, Tom.
Know what I mean? There was a lot going on there in that match, I'll tell you. We open up with Jeff Hardy versus Eric Young here on Impact, and we are back in the Impact zone. Jeff Hardy goes to the ring, and Eric Young is in the back yelling at Dixie Carter as she's in the command position. Eric Young and Jeff Hardy get into a brawl right away, and then Dixie's music hits, and she comes out and says that the winner of this match...
Tom, this is last week's show.
I was wondering how long it was going to take you to figure it out.
Well, here's the problem. I figured it out much earlier, but there was a part of me that actually believed they were going to do the same goddamn thing 2 weeks in a row.
Pretty close, actually. So the opening segment on Impact from, let me guess, it's 3/22? Yeah. From the 22nd of March, 2016. The first segment was 21 minutes long, just all talking, much like Raw. So not actually, I guess that is very dissimilar. Last week, there was a little bit of talking with Dixie Carter, but then they got right into a match. So this time, it's the flip-flop, opposite, reverse, and we have a huge Monday Night Raw-esque talking segment to start it off. So Drew Galloway comes out with the title. And they say on commentary that he is the first man to successfully cash in the Feast or Fired briefcase for the world title. So I looked this up. And let's see. There's quite a laundry list of people who have won the Feast or Fired title shot here. And, well, look, do you know who the first person to win the World Heavyweight Championship shot was, Brian?
By successfully cashing in?
No, it's Drew Galloway. He's the first one to actually cash in and do it successfully. So who was the first person to win that briefcase, but they failed? Any idea?
Damian Sandow.
Not even close. Scott Steiner against Samoa Joe.
I fucking have no memory of that whatsoever. And that was back when I watched the show every week.
He called him genetic junk.
Isn't it funny how they copy everything from WWE except Money in the Bank? Where, like, you can remember off the top of your head the guys that have failed to cash in Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
But in TNA, it's like nobody's cashed in successfully except for one guy now.
Okay, so I'll tell you all the people who've lost it, too. So let's see. We got Scott Steiner. Then Hernandez was the next person to hold the briefcase. And he lost. Oh, no, actually, he won via DQ over Sting due to interference, and then lost to AJ Styles. I guess they gave him another shot with the briefcase. Samoa Joe lost to AJ Styles. Let's see. Gunner was defeated by Magnus. And then Austin Aries lost to Kurt Angle. So there you go. Drew Galloway's number one.
Crazy.
First guy to do it, yeah. So he says, don't ask what the title can do for you, but ask what you can do for the title. And he says he's going to do whatever it takes.
That was so much better than Sempervivi's Don Fry impersonation today.
I didn't hear this. Well, how can you give me a accurate representation?
I was trying to figure out who he sounded like, and it was Butthead from Beavis and Butthead. I listened to it again a little while ago. You got to hear this. It's quite frankly, it is amazing.
All right. Well, I'll have to go back and listen to it, I guess. So he says he's going to do whatever it takes to put TNA on the map again. So right there, he just flat out admitted TNA is like off the map. Amerigo Vespucci would not know what to do with TNA.
It's a great reference.
Thanks. So Matt Hardy, Rebby Sky, Tyrus, and Spud all come out, and Matt says he's going to get his title shot against Drew Galloway. He's going to get his title shot and get his revenge. And then Jeff Hardy comes out, says he wants a title shot, but he gets jumped by Eric Young and Bram. We then go to a commercial, and back from the commercial, Drew Galloway and Jeff Hardy are getting beaten up by all the heels, and Eric Young's about to pile drive Jeff through a table, but EC3 comes out for the save, and they clear the ring. EC3 says that Drew is a deserving champion, but he'd be lying if he said he was the most deserving champion. So, hey, good job of putting over the champion and yourself. Way to go. So the Miracle and Maria then come out. The Miracle Mike Bennett says he could end the talk quickly about who should be number one contender because he pinned the current champ, Drew Galloway, a few weeks back. Then Dixie Carter comes out to what would be less than a full round of applause and announces a gauntlet match for later tonight for the number one contender shot. And this segment took 21 minutes. Everybody and their mom ran in. It went on way too long. It killed me right off the bat.
Inappropriate usage of time.
Yes. So then we go backstage. Let me see how many fucking segments are on the show. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
And we're at 1?
Yeah, well, we're at 2 now.
Okay, get your ass moving here.
No, okay, it was 3. So Beer Money is in the back, and they're wondering who's going to take their open challenge that they laid out last week. And James Storm says he hopes it's America's Most Wanted. So Bobby Roode was kind of confused. And James Storm just thought it would be cool to wrestle on both teams. And then he said, hey, we got to make it down there so we can beat him to the ring. So then we go to commercial and come back. And Jeremy Borash is in the back. He's running. What's the little, it's like the turnstile thing where they pick numbers out? It's like a number generator.
A turnstile where they pick numbers out.
Yeah, like the Royal Rumble. What was a Royal Rumble?
A tumbler.
Thing? A tumbler? I see a tumbler is the thing you drink coffee out of.
Who gives a shit?
Well, me, because it takes forever to
explain tumbler. What this thing is. It was a tumbler.
Okay. I guess it's it's the number generator thing.
Okay, the number generator.
So Borash is running it in the back, and then Mike Bennett comes over, and he chooses first. So he picks out a number, and then he's on his way. Then we go to the ring again, and we have Beer Money, who's in the ring, waiting for their open challenge, and out comes Robbie E. And Robbie E. and Jesse Goddard's reform the Bromans to challenge for the belts. And my immediate thought was my dream match, I think right now, would have to be the Bromans versus the Hype Bros.
Sounds like a terrible match.
If only we could get those two teams to face off.
If only over WrestleMania weekend we could have such a battle of teams as that one.
That would be awesome. So, anyways, 30 minutes into the show, we get our first match here. The Beer Money Open Challenge. The Bromans take over after a power slam, and then they nail a double knee in the corner. Sandwich, I don't know, James Storm's head, Bobby Roode's head, one of the two. Eventually, Jesse Goddard locks on the Adonis lock, a.k.a. the Boston Crab, which I may or may not have contracted out drinking a few times. But James Storm interferes, nails Jesse Goddard with a super kick, and they nail him with the DWI and get the 3 count. Pretty much a nothing match. Not exciting. It was there,
Does it ever explain why the Bromans were able to accept this challenge, but another team was unable to? Is it first come, first served? Is that what the number generator is for?
No. It's an open challenge. The number generator is for the Gauntlet match later on.
Oh, the open challenge, they should have 10 teams that all want to challenge them all at the same time. So it must be first come, first served.
It is. It must be first
Whoever
come,
can get to the music guy first and say, play my damn music, will get it.
And you have to be former World Tag Team champs, too. They said that.
That would probably be everybody in the entire damn company at this point.
Let me think here. I don't think Marty Bell. Do they still have the TNA Knockouts tag titles? Are those still around?
It's a good question. I think they left with ODB.
They are defunct. Okay, so then there's a Decay promo, and maybe long for the days of Joseph Park. And during this, I don't know, Rosemary referenced Crazy Steve eating someone's face, and I don't understand what's going on. Are they like, is this a menage a trois between the three of them? Are Rosemary and Crazy Steve a couple?
I think this will come out when we figure out who the mystery dude is.
It's Jimmy Havoc.
Well, I mean, when we figure out what he's all about.
He's all about Rosemary.
Maybe that answers your question right there, then.
Oh, so I don't know. All right. So then we go back to Borash with the number generator again. And it's Eric Young and Bram. Eric Young says he's the most dangerous man in wrestling. Which is a bold claim. Eric Young and Bram get their numbers out of the number generator. Then Eric Young sees Willow twirling his little umbrella around in the background and loses it. Of course, no one else sees Willow, so we are left to wonder if it is indeed Willow playing tricks on Eric Young and getting away before anyone sees him, or if Eric Young is indeed insane and just seeing things. We go to Eddie Edwards versus a Decay member, which turns out to be Crazy Steve. So this was supposed to be him versus Crazy Steve, Rosemary, or Abyss, I suppose. Crazy Steve takes over early on by sweeping out Eddie Edwards' leg as he's standing on top of the steel steps, and then sits him up against the steps and hits a running cannonball. Edwards makes a comeback by slamming Crazy Steve head first into all the chairs as they're set up in between the ropes and the turnbuckles. But Rosemary pulls out my boy Stifler to stop the 3 count at 2. Brian, do you know I used to train with Stifler?
I do know that.
Okay, just double checking. Steve,
you once beat some guy too, or you lost to him.
I lost to R-Truth.
R-Truth, that's right.
I also lost to Alex.
Can you believe that, Tom? You shouldn't even tell people that story. You lost to R-Truth.
He was a pay-per-view main eventer a few years ago.
Christ.
Do you know I was top 15 in the UFC one week too?
Hey, that's far more impressive.
Is it? Are we sure?
But now R-Truth can tell people that he beat someone who was a top 15 in the UFC.
Oh, that's true. You know, he probably has no idea.
It's like I can say I beat a man who beat both John Cena and Brock Lesnar. That's what I thought.
Who?
Lance.
Oh.
What do you think, I'm talking about Vinny?
No, I don't. Wait, who? He beat both of them?
Yeah.
Huh.
It's crazy, huh?
That is crazy.
I bought myself a Winged Eagle belt for that one.
Oh, really?
No.
I've
always tried to find an excuse to buy that goddamn thing, but I just can't do it.
So for Christmas, right? We get Christmas gifts from the UFC, and for the last few years, it's been like money you can use on their store. And I so want to just buy the replica belt and smash it up so I can be the UFC hardcore champ.
Sure.
And
carry that thing around WrestleMania weekend, see what happens.
I'd be the fucking man. People would love it. But I am not getting on a plane with that thing. No way. I'm not being one of those guys, Brian. Why don't I just dress up like a clown and go hang out at all the wrestling events?
Dude, you'd pick up the chicks.
It's a good point. Although that wouldn't help me very much, seeing as how I am a accounted for man.
Accounted for.
Accounted for, yes. Accounted for. So, whatever. Blah, blah, blah. Eddie Edwards, he was tied up by Rosemary. Crazy. I don't even know what was going on. But Eddie Edwards won with a schoolboy. Distraction finish. That
awesome.
Good enough for you?
Yeah, it's good enough.
Okay, all right. So then we have Dixie in the back, and she's talking to Bobby Lashley, saying that he's lucky only to get a fine for what he did to Josh last week, beating him up. Bobby says that none of the guys in the Gauntlet match tonight are ready for him. So then we have Jeff and EC3 are with Borash picking their numbers, and EC3 says he will punch Matt in the face with the force of 1,000 suns. And you should have seen EC3 because, I mean, I swear he looked like he was like 10 feet away from 1,000 suns. for hours. I mean, he was like bright red. He was like a lobster. And that was the end of that segment. So then we go to Gail Kim, who has been the Knockouts champion, we are alerted, for 187 days.
Cool. Wow.
Yes. The longest reigning champion is Taryn.
Jesus. Do I have to hear this on one show? Do I have to hear it on both?
Which one's more prestigious?
That's a good question, actually. If you would have asked me 6 months ago, I would have said the Knockouts title, but things have changed.
Yeah. The Knockouts division is on a downswing right now, unfortunately. But I don't know. Actually, the Knockouts match was... it was bad. It wasn't good. Never mind. So Maria comes out, and in a kind of awkward moment, they start her music, and she's already kind of out on the ramp, but it takes like 30 seconds before there's anything going on in the music. So she has to walk down, and then the music kicked in, and she was already in the ring. Just a bizarre timing. So she invites the Dollhouse down to the ring, and she says that they need a leader and asks them to essentially break up and become women. Marty Bell, she's not having it. She started speaking Spanish like she was, oh man, who was that girl? Who was the actor that used to talk with like the real heavy Spanish accent? Rosie Perez?
Sure.
Do you remember her?
Sure, there have been plenty of them.
Okay, well, she started talking like Rosie Perez, and I didn't even know she was Hispanic. So Maria then kind of cuts her off and says, like, look, I talked to the people in the back, and I've chosen to give my title shot at Gail Kim to one of you Dollhouse members, provided that you have a fight for it right now. So we go to commercial, we come back, and I guess the Dollhouse, who at first wanted nothing to do with Maria, they've just decided, sure, we'll fight each other for this title shot. So Marty and Jade start off double teaming Rebel. At one point, Rebel does the splits. Like, she has Marty down, face down. She does the splits on top of Marty's back. So I guess she was trying to like drop down and leg drop her or hurt her. So she lands it, and then Marty just like scoots out from underneath her and comes over and hits like the natural selection, essentially. I guess it was a neck breaker instead of going the other way, but really weird spot. And Rebels, I noticed now that Rebel's really bad.
Just now figured this out?
Well, I tried to give her benefit of the doubt before, but she's really bad. So eventually, Jade hits an uninspired STO on Rebel and lays her out. Then grabs Marty and does the same to her on top of Rebel, and then pins them both for the 3 count. So it looks like we're getting Jade versus Gail Kim yet again. And we don't know, or I don't know, what happened to the Dollhouse. Are they broken up? Or are they together? Don't really know. We go to the back, and we have Matt Hardy, Spud, and Tyrus picking out their numbers. Tyrus picks out his. He's not too happy with it. Matt just outright grabs Spud's number and switches with him and starts yelling out that, I got a great number. I picked the best. And Spud tells him, you sure did, boss. You're going to be the champ tonight. And they all scurry their way off. So I think Matt Hardy is a really good character. Big money Matt. Spud's great as a little lackey. Tyrus is good as like... Tyrus also has a title shot in his back pocket, so he kind of plays the tweener role. He's always mad when the other guys are getting their shine, but he still helps them out. So then we have the Gauntlet match, which starts off with EC3 and Bobby Lashley, and they trade big man tackles and power moves. Next out is Spud, and then he teams up with Lashley against EC3. Mike Bennett comes out after that, and all 3 heels beat up on EC3 for a while. Eric Young is next out, followed by Tyrus. As Tyrus is coming out, EC3 fights back and tosses Spud over the top to eliminate him. We go to commercial, and as we're back from the commercial, I guess Bram has entered because he is in the ring. And Lashley has beat up everybody in the ring and put him down with spears and big moves before he dumps Tyrus out over the top. Eric Young has Lashley tied up from behind, and Bram comes running over but misses a knee. And I guess like Eric Young was probably like a good 3 or 4 feet away from the ropes, and Bram hit him with the knee, and Eric Young kind of ran and jumped over the top. So Eric Young's eliminated, and then Lashley takes the confusion to dump Bram out. So then Lashley is in the ring. He's basically the last man standing, and as his back is turned, the Pope jumps in the ring and eliminates Lashley over the top rope. The Pope then runs and jumps off of the apron, splashes onto Lashley, starts beating him up on the outside, and goes after him all the way to the back. So
you're telling me the announcer, the Pope, eliminated Bobby the Blaster Lashley.
Yeah, but wasn't the Pope former ECW? Was he ECW champion?
He may have been.
Was he?
That was 10 years ago, if it occurred. Why is he eliminating Lashley?
Well, because they're having a feud. I mean, what do you want?
Because they're having a feud.
Yeah.
Wow.
Last week, Lashley attacked Josh Matthews for no reason. And the Pope came to his aid, and then the Pope got beat up.
Lashley just retired Kurt Angle.
I get what you're saying, man.
Can you imagine if Brock Lesnar would have broken the Undertaker's streak, and the next night on television, Jerry Lawler eliminated him from a gauntlet, and they began to feud?
I don't know. What do you want me to say?
I'm not blaming you. Just pointing it out.
I want you to blame me.
Just preposterous.
I want to take the blame for
preposterous.
This. Anyways, what do you care? You didn't even watch it.
I'm a reporter.
What are you angry about?
Because I got to hear about it.
Okay. You don't have to, actually. There's ways around it. Okay, so whatever. They're out. So EC3 and Mike Bennett are the lone men in the ring after like 3 or 4 guys just got eliminated in that schmoz. Matt Hardy is out next, so he did get a good number. He's out next, and he and Mike Bennett double team EC3 until Jeff comes out. EC3 tosses Mike Bennett out. Bennett's pissed. He grabs a hold of EC3's arm, and he's holding on to him until Matt comes over and dumps EC3 out. So EC3 again, not the champion, but has still never been pinned or submitted. Just gets kind of out-weaseled in all these matches.
You know, you would think after all these years of having guys like Christian, who had an undefeated streak and was a 2-time champion somehow, and all the other guys they've done with this, they would realize that it doesn't matter if you call a guy undefeated. It doesn't make one bit of difference. This guy's lost the title, what now, twice? He's lost the title twice and been eliminated, but he's still undefeated.
Yeah.
I'm blaming you for this one, filthy.
Oh, yeah. I'm like essentially undefeated in matches that go to decision.
Undefeated? No, you're not.
Yeah. I dispute all those losses.
I see. Okay.
Much like he can dispute his losses.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool to me.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so where were we? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so we are now down to Matt and Jeff Hardy as the final 2. It's come to this, Brian. So they fight back and forth for a while. Eventually they end up on the ring edge and some action ensues. Matt sets up Jeff for what looks like, I guess he's going to pile drive him, but Jeff's still on the outside. So he's going to pull him in and pile drive him, I guess. I don't know. But Jeff counters this and backdrops Matt over the top rope, becomes the new #1 contender here in TNA Impact Wrestling. And the show ends as Jeff is on the top rope, staring down Drew Galloway, who has come out to clap and hold his title high. And that's how the show ends. So after this, I think, you know what? There's way too many segments. But I like this show. Set up a lot of title challengers for Drew Galloway. He's been pinned by Mike Bennett. So there's a championship match there. Now we got Jeff Hardy that can challenge for the title. Matt, of course, has a rematch.
Big money, Matt.
Yeah. Tyrus has his briefcase in tow, which the only way that I guess the only way they could get another challenger would be like if Maxwell somehow got a hold of that briefcase.
Don't think there's not time for Maxwell.
Yeah, there is. I don't know if it's in TNA, but there is time for him. EC3, of course, and then Lashley is being still set up as, despite being eliminated by the Pope, I think he's still set up to be the big heel monster down the road. So good, solid booking.